The Movement number 6, written by Gail Simone, art by Freddie Williams II. So last issue, we had Tremor versus Catharsis because Tremor was freeing the cops from their trial. And then Mouse was fighting against a new group that's working with the Cornea Killer called the Graveyard Faction. There's a lot. So we open up continuing the Catharsis versus Tremor fight, and basically it's being live streamed somehow, and we see everyone is talking about it in very like creepy terms, I guess. They keep on saying like, "Oh yeah, it's just two women can't get along. My money's on the wings girl." Like they want to see the fight. And we see them going at each other. Tremor, every time she lands a hit on Catharsis, like uses her powers to attack. Some of the people who are part of the movement that are out in the crowd are like, hey, we're like way underground and that girl's a walking earthquake, so we should probably evacuate everyone like right now. So they start trying to move people out down the tunnels they have here. We see Catharsis flies Tremor up into the air so she's not able to touch the ground anymore, kind of robbing her of some of her powers. We see Burden is just like, there's winged creatures fighting in the sky. Am I already in hell? And Vengeance Moth uses, and by the way, if you forgot last issue, Vengeance Moth is the girl in the wheelchair who apparently has some weird psychic moth she can just summon. So Catharsis is fighting against Tremor in the air, ends up dropping Tremor from high up. She's caught by Vengeance Moth, and Vengeance Moth is just trying to fight it. She's like, everyone stop fighting. We're on the same team. Don't you see that? And Catharsis is basically like, no, she's not on my side. I don't know what side. She's on the enemy side. How dare she be here? And as they're about to continue fighting, Virtue steps in and just like, all right, everyone shut up. Stop fighting, or you're both out of this. Look what you guys are doing. Like we're becoming each other, and she feels for Tremor's emotions and realizes that she feels fear, not for herself but for Catharsis's soul, because she thinks that if she lets her friend become a murderer, then that's it. Like there's no coming back from that. And then Tremor also looks over to Burden, and it's just like, we did this to help people. Look at this kid. He is literally cowering in the corner thinking that he is Satan himself and belongs in hell. What have we done to help him? And Virtue's like, fair enough. All right, here's the plan. I am going to help Burden. And Burden's like, hooray, I'm not going to be a burden anymore. And then she sends Catharsis and Tremor out to the ice cream store and says, you guys are going to go have Sundays and you're not going to leave there until you shake hands. And she's like, what? That's stupid. She's like, do it. So meanwhile, the cops are making their way down the tunnels. They end up in a subway system. And the one bad one, whatever his name is, Joe, he's just like, all right, remember everything about this place because we're going to come back here with backup and we're going to bash some skulls together. And the other one's just like, we messed up. Maybe we just like take this as a loss and move on with our lives. And Joe's like, dude, shut up. So then we go back to Mouse, who's fighting against the Graveyard Faction. And we'll get their names later, but Big One comes in, starts swinging at Mouse. He sends his rats into the guy's pants because that's just his thing. And then all of a sudden he gets a rope of barbed wire around his neck. And we see one of them is holding the rope while another one comes in saying, I want to kiss him to death so hot. So yeah, there's that. Then the Cornea Killer steps in just like, I might just rain on you without having to steal your corneas after. And Prince says, oh, I'm the prince of everything dirty. And he backflips out of the barbed wire noose, manages to kick the other two people in the face. And then one more shows up whose apparently his power is barfing fire, not just breathing, he barfs it. And that burns Mouse a little bit, enough for all of the rest of the group to get back on their feet. And he says, yeah, Cornea Killer steps up and says, these are the new police squad: Anguish, Arson, Monster Baby, and Palace, Pallas. So at that point, he says, do you really think you can take them on alone? And Mouse says, oh, you really think I'm alone? So, and then we cut down to Burden, who they've got tied to a bed, and they're going to perform an exorcism on him, Virtue and Vengeance Moth. And Vengeance Moth pulls out a Bible and says, here, pick something from this book. Just make it sound like it should fit. And then Burden starts transitioning into like his demon form, and he's like, "Oh, I've been exercised so many times, but yeah, you're welcome to give another shot." So then we cut to the ice cream parlor, and both Catharsis and Tremor, who they have actual names, but I couldn't care less about them, are saying, "This is so stupid. This is never going to work. We're on totally opposite sides here. Maybe," Tremor's like, "Maybe I should just leave." And Catharsis is like, "Yeah, maybe you should." And then they eat the ice cream, and they're like, "Okay, well, let's eat first, and then we'll argue about it." So back to the exorcism. Virtue can't find a good verse, but then the demon starts spouting off and just saying like, "Oh, I see your filthy, perverted lust inside you," and she's like, "You don't know anything about me," and just uses her powers to sense the fear that is inside of Burden. And he's like, "Okay, all right, I think I got a plan here." So she asks for a bottle of water from Vengeance Moth, and then Burden starts spouting off like, "Oh, your father's in here." And he's like, "Shut up, you don't know my father." And he's just like, "Oh, really? He's an awful man." It's like, "No, he wasn't. My dad was great." He's like, "Oh, then why did he have a cop's bullet in his skull?" So it seems like Virtue is, or not Virtue, yeah, Virtue's gonna get a bit pissed off here. She starts dumping water onto Burden, pretending like it's holy water, and so it does actually burn him. And then she uses her powers to draw all of the fear out of Burden and then take it into herself. And then she says, "There, that's it. That's all it was. You're free now, Burden." And he's like, "No, call me Christopher. I'm so happy. Bless you all." And so then we cut to half a mile away, where Mr. Cannon is leaving. He's out on the penthouse. He's just enjoying the night. And then all of a sudden it starts raining on top of him and him alone. And we see him meet up with the Cornea Killer. And the Cornea Killer says, "Hey, Dad, you're not going to believe the night I had." So then the last little reveal is we get the Catharsis and Tremor. They talk and they basically say, "Yeah, okay, maybe we can find a way to still work together. We can still be friends here. I like that you were concerned for my soul." And Tremor's like, "Oh yeah, I just want to make sure that nobody gets hurt, blah blah blah." So they shake hands, they walk outside, and then they see Mouse, who has been beaten, possibly killed, and is strung up with a sign saying, "I was a bad rodent." And yeah, maybe Mouse is dead. I don't know. It's okay. It's fine, I guess. Like the casting out Burden's demon thing, that feels like it's so out of nowhere. Like I don't particularly like it feels like it was just slowing down the plot, all things considered. So I don't know what that's doing there. The rest of it's fine. It's just a couple weird little plot twists that I still don't feel like I've got a good grasp on what this book wants to do. It feels like it's torn between being a deeper social commentary of police stuff and whether or not a community can police itself, and then it has to be a superhero book fighting against like a serial killer and this other group of things. Like it's torn between the two, and I can't figure out what it feels like it wants to do. So all in all, I'd say this is probably like a 6. It's not awful, it's not great, it's just kind of mediocre the whole way through, but it is above average because it's still playing with interesting thoughts at the very least, and I want to see how it turns out, so it's got that going for it.